Richland Rum to do a tour of the distillery in downtown Brunswick.
Thank you.
Let me tell you a little bit about who we are. So we are the only single estate rum producer in the United States.
Wow.
Wow! What does that mean? So it means we're the only guys making rum that do every single step of the process ourselves. Our owner lives on the farm's in Richland, Georgia. We grow our own sugarcane. Sugarcane's harvested in November. It's immediately ground, and all the juice is extracted. That is heated up, reduced down to a syrup. It's the syrup they send us, and that's what we ferment and then distill to all the rums that are behind the bar here. Most of the rums of the world, 98%, are made from molasses. Molasses is just the waste product from the sugar industry. So by using our own sugarcane, we have quality control. We get to keep all of that good stuff out of the sugarcane, and so we're not distilling all that black, nasty residue in the bottom of the sugar refinery. If you look over here, these are the rums we currently have aging. All our rums, except our clear rums, are aged for a minimum of 4 years, aged in brand new American white oak barrels. We don't have reused barrels, we don't have a blend barrels, so all our rums are true single barrel rums. The farm is 1,700 acres. We currently have 200 acres devoted to raising sugarcane. Sugarcane season goes from mid-February, that's usually when we see the first green shoots popping up, until mid-November. We have to get the harvest done before the first frost, otherwise we will lose our entire crop, and I won't have any rum to drink for an entire year. It's not good. So for every acre that we harvest and grind, we're going to get 2,500 gallons of sugarcane juice. Sugarcane itself is 85% water, it's 70% water, 15% sugar, 15% fiber. So the fiber is just going to get composted, it's going to go back on the fields. We get to keep 85% of what we're growing to go into our rum. The sugarcane juice goes into a big vat, 12 foot across, heated up with a wood fire. We're going to raise the temperature very, very slowly. We have to have great control over this. What we want to do is we want to get that juice where it's got just a very slight shimmer to the surface. We want it even less than simmering. If we get it to a boil, what's going to happen is the sugar is going to crystallize all the way around the outside. The more sugar we crystallize at this point, the less will be in our syrup, the less it will get fermented, which means the less alcohol will be available for us to distill. So 2,500 gallons reduces down tenfold. It's going to turn into 250 gallons, which happens to be the exact size of one of our totes. So one of our totes represents 1 acre of sugarcane. This will eventually turn into 2 barrels of rum. First, we're going to start off by fermenting our sugarcane. So in order to ferment anything, what you're doing is you're introducing yeast to sugar. Yeast eats sugar and creates CO2, and thankfully for us, alcohol! So we're going to take this, move this one over to where the empty tote is. We're going to drain 50 gallons into the lower tote. We've got water purification system here. We're going to add 200 gallons of water on top of the syrup, and we're going to recreate the juice that we have at the farm. The reason why we can't just ferment the juice itself is that juice goes bad very, very quickly. So if we turn it into a sugar concentrate, that sugar acts as a preservative. The same reason the honey doesn't go bad on the store of the grocery store, same reason why we can keep this almost forever while it's concentrated. Analyze it by adding water to it, then we're going to add a little bit of yeast and start the fermentation process. In the summertime, it is blazing hot in this building. Fermentation is going to take 4 or 5 days. In the winter, it gets extremely cold. We do this for a reason. We'll get onto that later. It's not just that we work for a cheapskate. So while it's fermenting, it's going to bubble, it's going to fizz, it's going to swirl around, and carbon dioxide is going to come out at the top. It's just like shaking up a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola. Once it all settles down, we know the fermentation process is done, and what we've created is our sugarcane wine. Same way if we would have put yeast into grape juice, we would have made wine ready to be bottled and sold. This is the same idea here. We create it as a sugarcane wine. You can drink it, it'll get you drunk, but it tastes like crap. Not that I would ever drink anything like that, of course. So what we've got now is proof, 13% alcohol by volume. So the next step is we need to separate those alcohols that we've just created from the rest of the mixture and concentrate them. In order to do that, we've got to move it from our fermentation station back over here, and we have to distill it. Copper pot stills. These stills were handmade in Portugal. I think they're rather pretty. You can still see where they hammered into place, or handcrafted top-of-the-line stills. People come over from Portugal and actually install them for us. So our 250 gallons of newly created wine is going to get pumped into either one of these stills. They're both identical. Both stills have a metal heating element in the bottom of it filled with heating oil. The machinery in the middle does nothing other than heat up the element which is going to heat up our newly created wine. The wine's going to heat up very, very slowly. Alcohol will evaporate at 20 degrees cooler than water. So we want to get the alcohol to separate from the remainder of the fluids, rise up to hit the onion dome as a vapor. As soon as it does this, it's going to condense back to a liquid instantly and rain back down onto our mixture below. This is going to happen hundreds of times during every distillation. Every time that alcohol evaporates, it's going to become a little bit purer, a little bit lighter. Eventually it'll be so pure, so light, it'll travel up out of that onion dome, up through the copper pipe, and into this upper cooling tank. The upper tank's filled full of room temperature water, and that copper pipe just spirals its way down, air gas enters the top, and it's going to start cooling down and trying to turn back to a liquid. Goes on down, goes into our bottom cooling tank, which is filled full of cold water. So as soon as we get into here, it's going to condense all the way back to a liquid, and it's going to start slowly dripping out of our gooseneck, and we've almost created rum at this point. It's going to come out of our gooseneck at 4 very distinct stages. First stage it's going to come out, we call this our 4 shots. This is 170 proof and above. You don't want any part of this whatsoever. This is pure liquid methanol. This is what was left into moonshine and will make you go blind. So,